Great job.
What taking flight means to me: reaching your full potential, being fearless in the face of adversity, able to think creatively, and willing to take a risk. At the core of every success, all these skills are present. Even the smallest of goals in life sometimes require a leap into the unknown. I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you want to take flight, what you need is the will to succeed. Today I'm going to talk to you about how I'm being prevented from taking flight, prevented from being successful, prevented from being me. 5387. Do I look like a number? Does any child look like a number? Yet that's what I and millions of others are being measured by, endlessly striving for a number, generated by a computer using data from a test I did when I was 11. I'm being confined and defined by a statistic that holds no real definition of who I really am. We live in a world that's been built by the dreamers, those who believed and dared they could dream. But that's been lost. The education system tears away every bit of originality, freedom, and the individuality we were graced with. This leaves behind a robot who can regurgitate information. We need inventors. Those people who will change the world. Those who can clean up the mess that everyone else has left behind. Those people who will come to the edge. I wonder how being able to recite Shakespeare will stop global warming, or how knowing what Pythagoras did thousands of years ago will fix world hunger and poverty. Academics are becoming our sole focus. Music, art, and drama are all slowly being forgotten. Thomas Edison, Einstein, Walt Disney, Charles Dickens, and Steve Jobs all have one thing in common. They dropped out of school. They were able to embrace their creativity and take a leap off the edge into the unknown, and now they have changed the world, have tons of money, and are considered the greats of history. Whilst researching this issue, I discovered Professor E. Torrance's work. In the 1950s, he researched the value of creativity and raised important points, and the outcome was Torrance's test of creative thinking, which measures people's creativity in 4 key ways: fluency, the total relevant ideas produced; flexibility, the different categories of those ideas; originality, and details, which all require a degree of risk-taking. So, me being the type who likes to conduct her own experiments, I've decided to test this myself. First of all, the paperclip challenge. I'm going to be mean and choose people from the audience because I'm up here and you're down there. So, what can you use a paperclip for? Yeah.
Keeping the paper together.
Good, good. Anyone else? You.
Opening up a lock. That's kind of a bad one, but trying to open up a lock.
I'm going to choose some people from the back because I feel as though they're probably not there. You with the hand up.
You can unravel your paperclip and get your pencil sharpener with that little piece of lead stuck in it and pull it out.
There's also some quite creative ideas there. But the typical adult can only suggest 10 to 15 different things. And someone who's good at this, perhaps 200, which is still only considered a pretty average score. But in 1,500 children, on a scale of bad to genius on creative thinking in this task, 98% of them scored genius. This testing continued every 5 years until they were 15, and this creativity deteriorated massively. That's got to change. We're in a time where children can't be left behind or forced into a mould, and that's exactly what's happening. One key thing Torrance mentioned was a change of objectives in order to flourish, a change in teaching methods, in curriculum, and how we identify talent and achievement. Otherwise, we stand in danger of creating more anachronisms, which, for all you know in history heads out there, means things don't fit in because they're outdated. We expect to see a world which moves forward, a cure for cancer, flying cars, robots. But is any of that possible if we remain restricted, unable to be different, to be ourselves? We are not your numbers. If a man from the 1950s is telling us this and we still haven't changed, doesn't that tell you something about the lack of good development in the education system? How many wings have been clipped by the schooling process? I'm calling for the government to change the value of learning before creativity is lost forever. Schools need funding so they could give every child the opportunity to learn and develop who they are through the arts, a chance to go to the edge. Colleges, workplaces, society all need to change their perception of creative courses and put more weight and importance on them. As a person who enjoys the creative arts, I wonder if my art GCSE holds the same value as my science GCSE. Because why shouldn't it? We victimise all those who take creative subjects and aren't academics, but still expect to see a world full of different and unique people. Am I the only one seeing the problem in this? Don't let our future Edisons, Richard Bransons and Steve Jobs grow up in a world where they are lost. Don't bring them into a world where standing on the edge brings fear. Fear of failure, fear of being out there, fear of not being what they're expected to be. Instead, bring them into a world which they can reach their full potential. Go to the edge, jump, and fly. I missed some of the things, but I'm like, oh, don't worry.
It's great. Do you see what I mean about that passion and that confidence there? And, you know, some of the questions you're asking, Katie, I think, first of all, I've got to say you're not on your own. I'm standing with you in terms of what education is doing for us. How have you managed to stand firm and grab your creativity and make that part of what you do?
Well, I'm a person who loves art and reading and all things like that. So I try to take a big portion out of my time, even though I have a lot of homework that I probably should be doing otherwise. But just drawing and being who I am and expressing myself in the best way possible, I think it was always a good way to go forward with it. Just finding something that you click with and following that despite what everyone else wants you to do.
So I'm a teacher, and I've read a blog of a teacher who went into a reception class and said to the children, they're sort of 5 years old, I need a really good artist. 30 hands shoot up. I'm a great artist, pick me, I'm amazing. And then the same experiment is done in year 6 when they're 11. And the teacher goes into the classroom and says, I need a really good artist. And no hands go up. And everybody sort of looks over in the direction of 1 or 2 people. And even though everyone is looking at that one person, they sort of go, yeah, I'm all right. And my thought is, what happens between that young age of having a go and that older age? And because of your pictures that I saw, how can we get people back to being 5 years old and be prepared to have a go? How can you encourage people to get back to that?
Well, I gave my mum and a few other people a quick challenge, which I forgot to sort of flick through, so it's kind of a shame. But there's a few pictures that I gave a few people, and just the idea of creating a new animal species. And you'll see that my mum's 40, but she drew that lovely avatar-based animal. But yeah, I gave a few people just a challenge to see the difference, but it turns out everyone still has that bit of creativity in them. So it's not lost, and it's never just completely gone. So please, just give it a try in a bit of your spare time, or just go home and write a poem or something. I don't know.
Or design an animal.
Design an animal.
Is your mum here?
Yeah, she's hiding her face in shame.
You don't look 40, love. You look all right, Claire. You're doing all right. And this is I love the hair. I love the hair on that. So give a massive round of applause to this incredible lady, Katie. Thank you.